Okay, Laura. I did take a look at your film over the week, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you on that. After class, I was going to go ahead and do a breakdown, but this weekend was the only time that I could find to do it. So I apologize about that. But so here we go. Um, Going over your film, this actually looks really good. It's starting to flow really nicely together. There's a couple things I want to go over with how you're doing this right here. And just I'm not sure if you know this in Premiere, or if you're familiar with Premiere to what you're comfortable with in Premiere. But I'm going to go ahead and go over this with you so that because I'd like to get these things ironed out because I want it to be um, kind of finalized. And I would figure that when you're working on your film, you're going to be working probably in Premiere anyways, and you're just going to be replacing things as they get better here and there anyways. So in that note, I have Premiere here, and basically have two pictures. I have a lighthouse, which would essentially be the house that you have, and then I have the koala, which kind of these are just two stock images that came with the computer. In any case, it's just a simple cut between the two, nothing big happening. But what I want you to do is two things. One, I want you to overlap this. You pick the amount that you want it to overlap. In this case, I have it going from 2613 to 2922. So that's what, a couple, like 3 seconds. That's probably a long dissolve. So you could probably, kill that a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to go into effects, and I want to go into video transitions and dissolves. And a cross dissolve is exactly kind of what we're looking for. And this defaults, I believe, to 1 second. But if you need to, you can go ahead and let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Here we go. Okay. So give it a second. Sorry, my computer's lagging because I'm recording. So I apologize about that. In any case, so this is the cross dissolve, and it defaults to about 1 second. And as you can see, it's starting to tell you how much your duration actually is. This one is a little over 2 seconds, which is kind of what we're looking for. And if we play it back, we'll see that we start to do a nice little cross dissolve. Okay, so when it gets to the point to go into the room, we want to go ahead and cross dissolve that. Now, the second thing that we want to do, and I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. So let's give that a second for the computer to figure itself out. That. Okay, so now we start with this image. I'm going to click on the image, double click on it, and I'm going to get the effects controls is what I'm looking for. And if I go into motion and scale is kind of what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by setting a key, and the way I do that is I click on this little stopwatch icon here, and that basically puts a keyframe like right there. Okay, I'm going to go to the end of the whatchamacallit, this image, and I'm going to turn off the one below it so that I can continue to see the image of the lighthouse. And I'm going to scale this up to, I don't know, let's just say I wanted to go towards the lighthouse. So let's say I go 200%. Okay, now you're going to have to find something that's kind of comfortable for you, but in this case, I'm going to go 200%. And it automatically saves a keyframe. Once you started keying, it's going to save a keyframe every time you make a change. Now, I don't see the lighthouse anymore in my picture. You might want to do this too, so I'll show you how to do that as well. I'm going to go back to the beginning, and as you can see, so far I have a nice little zoom in, okay, instead of like the chunky zoom in that you have going on in yours. If I play it, it just kind of chunks forward a little bit, and I'd rather see a nice zoom in because I think it's going to be a little bit, better storytelling. Now, there might be a reason why you did that, but I'd like to talk to you about it if that's the case. Hang on a second. Where did I go? Oh, I need to go to Premiere. Okay. So where was I? Yes, position. So I'm back at the beginning of it. I'm going to click on position again to start animating that. And as you can see, another little keyframe popped in right there. I'm going to go to the end, and I'm going to reframe these two so that I can get to the lighthouse. So I'm going to do it just like this. Voila. Okay. And okay, so basically I've repositioned for it. So now if I rewind this, it's going to zoom in, and it's going to zoom in towards the lighthouse. And then it's going to cross dissolve into the koala, which I have hidden, so I'll turn that back on. But as you can see, the koala is totally stationary. So what I want to do with the koala is basically the same thing. I want to double click on the koala, and I want to go to the beginning of the koala's track, and I want to go to effects controls, and again I want to go into motion and scale and click on it to keyframe it. It makes a keyframe for me, and then I go to the end of the koala, and I don't want to I don't want to keep zooming in through the whole thing. I want to basically stop the dissolve, like maybe halfway through. Okay, so what I'll do is I will zoom in to about, I don't know, let's say 150. Okay, and I believe that that's linear. So what happens is basically what I've created here is a continuation of motion, okay, which is kind of what we're looking for. It doesn't just go into the next shot and start moving. It's going to continue the motion through, okay, as if the camera is just continuing to go through. But what I'm concerned about is that it just stops. Okay, I kind of want it to ease out. And I believe if I right click on the keyframe, I can do Auto Bezier, where I can go ease in. And I think that creates an ease in where it just kind of slows to a stop. Yep, looks like it's doing it. Oh, that's beautiful. So that's exactly what you want to do right there. So again, right click on it, and if you did ease, we're easing into it. We're not easing out, we're easing in. It'll come to a nice slow stop, okay, which is kind of what you're looking for. So that's basically what I'm looking for in these first two shots between there and there. Okay, there and here. So then we go into what you have here. And I question this pose here because I don't think this is the pose of a kid that has to go pee. I think we need to figure out what that looks like, and to me this kind of feels more like he's just kind of afraid. And we don't really know why. So the first pose I want to see this kid is afraid and he has to go pee. So we need to find a pose that kind of fits that. And I would think maybe he'd be on his back, potentially laying straight, maybe biting his lip. I don't know, something that you would do when you've been holding it for a while and you got to go. So think about that, and let's try and get this kind of reposed.
No, don't be afraid.
So this pose, this actual shot is kind of unnecessary. I mean, it's fine that you have it, but it's kind of unnecessary. It does add a dimension of light, and maybe that might be kind of cool when he starts to enter the hallway. But think about whether you need this shot or not. Okay.
No, don't be afraid. Everything will be all right. Let's go.
Okay. I like this. I kind of like what you're doing.
Everything will be all right.
I don't think that later on, when he gets mad at the teddy bear, that it kind of fits how he's supposed to be acting. I mean, I think we need to come up with something else for that later on, or change it here. But I kind of like what you have here, so I'd say go along with this. But when we get, we'll talk about that more when we get to it. So this is actually fine. I'm glad you have the dialogue in there. This is a nice amount of time to stay on the teddy bear. The let's go is great. I'll probably definitely want to see some kind of direction so that we see which way, you know, he's getting down from the bed. I do see that you cut out the walking towards the door, and instead you have the teddy bear kind of peeking around the door first, which is kind of nice. So that's so this is all nice, very nice. Uh-oh. I wonder what just happened there. This doesn't look like it's the exact same one that I was watching a minute ago. So, or, last week. Looks like you made some updates since then, which is nice. Nice to see. Um, so here you have him leaving frame. And then we have this come to life. Okay. I guess that's nice. This feels a little open, so I like the closeness that you have here, but I think we need to kind of close the gap on this. I think we need to bring the camera around this way on this side of him a little bit more. Still keep it this way on this side of the line of action, but you need to kind of close this gap off a little bit more. And that might be even getting a little bit closer to him, so that you're kind of covering off a little bit of the top of the head. Because I like the fact that the mouth is in there. Even if you cut off the mouth, I think you'll still get the same expression if we just have the eyebrows, the eyes, and the nose. And I think that's perfect because we get a little bit of the sag under the eye that really shows that he's really freaked out about it. But I think the idea is to not see, maybe just see a little bit of where he's going. Okay, because I would say that this is going to be out of focus anyways. That was freaky. Okay. So then we go towards the window. This isn't working for me. I think we need to have him kind of walking past and then kind of be stopped by it. And I'm not really seeing that here. I think that's something that we talked about, but I'm not seeing it in your boards here. And I think we need to kind of move a little bit. We need to get a few more boards to kind of describe what's happening. So, and I would almost make it so that as he's walking past, this is kind of changing, and that's what's causing him to turn his head. And then it just kind of freaks him. He's like, he ends up shutting it like right away.
Pull yourself.
So
Pull your.
we have the drapes. I'm assuming that that was his hands. Let me see if I can stop it properly. Oh, it's so quick. Okay, there's some little white little circles over here, and I'm assuming that was his hands when the drapes were shut. I think we need to talk about how you're framing this, because all of a sudden we jump to this shot, and he's pull yourself together, and I still question whether this is working or not. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. You have him getting kind of angry at the teddy bear. I think that there might be another thing that we can say, or maybe we can kind of get rid of the dialogue altogether and just be, some kind of interaction between the teddy bear, but moreover, it's just looks. I don't think we necessarily need to say much of anything. I don't think that really is helping your story right now. Or maybe there's some kind of words of encouragement rather than just getting angry. Let me think on that a little bit more. For right now, don't touch this shot or the next one. This is something we'll talk about in class, where we could talk about it kind of face to face.
Pull yourself together, Bear. This is no time to panic.
Okay. Those were fine. This is actually working really nice. That's nice. Good. I want to see a little bit more, some more development in the toilet, just to kind of see where certain